Good morning 5B. Okay, today we'll be guiding you through the first open-ended question of the Using Electricity topical worksheet, question 12. And then after that, your homework today will be to complete the rest of the open-ended questions, and we'll go through the answers on Friday. Alright, try your best to at least attempt the question, at least understand the question and answer the question. It's okay if it's wrong, but the problem is that if you don't try, you will never learn. Okay, so please try. Okay, so please try. So I will guide you first through question 12, how to understand the question and how to use CR method to answer part B of question 12. Okay, so let's look at question 12 now. Some pupils carried out an experiment. And what are they trying to find out? They're trying to find out, okay, let's highlight the aim. They're trying to find out if the number of batteries in a circuit affect the brightness of the bulb. Okay, so straight away we know that this is actually the aim of the experiment. Okay, so in every experiment we do, we have an aim. That is our purpose of doing the experiment. Okay, the purpose of doing this experiment is to find out how the number of batteries in a circuit. So I'm talking about a number of batteries in a circuit. Let's underline this. Number of batteries in a circuit affect the brightness of the bulb. Okay, so in every aim, okay, I think we have spoken about this before. In every aim, there must be a change variable. There must be a variable that you measure. So in this aim to find out if the number of batteries affect the brightness of the bulb, the number of batteries is what we change. Okay, so this is the change variable. So this is what we change in this experiment. And what we are measuring in this experiment is the brightness of the bulb. Okay, so let's write this down. So basically, understand the question is to write down what you know about the question. Don't just read it. Okay, understand it. Okay, and something you have to write it in your own words. So this is the variable I measure. So I change the number of bulbs. I change the number of batteries and I measure the brightness of the bulb. So what happens that you look at this graph over here. So what happens, you realize the number of batteries from 1 change to 2, change to 3, change to 4, all the way to 8, and you realize this is the corresponding brightness of the bulb. So every time we have a graph like this, right, always look out for the relationship. Okay, so always look out for a relationship. They might ask you, they might not ask you. Of course, in this question, they are asking you, but always look at the graph and ask yourself what's the relationship. It's not exactly the numbers, but what is the trend that you see. Okay, always notice the relationship, okay, between the variables, between the change variable and between the change variable and the measure variable. Okay, so if you realize that, if you look at this carefully, you realize that as I increase the number of batteries, the brightness of the bulb actually increases. Okay, the brightness of the bulb increases. However, when I increase to more than 7, it drops to 0. Okay, and what does this mean? You realize that if I use 8 batteries, nothing. So this means that the bulb did not light up. And this is a very critical point later when we explain the experiment. Okay, because it's right there on the line is at 0, so the bulb did not light up. So this graph can be just like dots and lines, right? But there's a lot of relationship going on, there's a lot of interpretation going on. So what we can see here is that as the numbers of battery increase, the brightness increases, but when you use more than 7, the bulb did not light up. And why? Okay, think about why. Later we'll find out why as well. Okay, so let's answer the first part based on the graph. Just based on the graph above, state the relationship. Okay, there are two ways of writing relationship. I'm just gonna share one way. So you realize the relationship between the variable that you change, which is the battery, and the variable you measure. So realize that before you start writing down, you tell yourself the relationship. You always start with the measured. You always start with the variable that you change. Okay, so basically when the number of batteries increases, the brightness of the bulb also increases. But is this always the case? No, because when more than 7 batteries are used, the bulb did not light up. So basically, we're trying to get you to understand how to write a relationship and how to construct a relationship per se. Right, so let's write this down. Okay, so I can write it like this. I'm gonna just share one way, but I'm gonna just say but not write down the second way of writing relationship. So when the number of batteries increase, or when the number of batteries used increase. Okay, so this is the variable that you change. You are increasing the number of batteries. So when the number of batteries used increases, the brightness of the bulb also increases. Okay, so this is one way of saying. However, we know that it's not always like this, because when you use more than 7 batteries, the bulb actually did not light up. So you have to add in the second sentence to tell me that you notice that there is a second relationship here, because when more than more than 7 batteries is used, okay, the bulb will not light up. The bulb did not light up. Okay. Okay, so this is a relationship. You can't just only say, for example, this part. Okay, let me just circle for you. You can't just say only this part. Okay, you can't just stop here. You need to also explain this um different relationship that you see here. So you need to explain the entire relationship from the first to the last variable per se. Okay, so when the bulbs, well, when the number of batteries increases, the brightness of the bulb also increases. But however, when more than 7 batteries are used, the bulb did not light up. Okay, just let me change this word in the spelling. All right. Okay, done. Okay, so this is the relationship. What's the second way of writing relationship or constructing it? You can say the more the batteries, the brighter the bulb. However, the second sentence still applies. However, when there's more than 7 batteries used, the bulb did not light up. So either you can say when this happens, that happens, or you can say the more something is, the more something is. It can be one increase, one decrease. It can be both increase, it can be both decrease. It depends on the relationship that is given to you, right? So the next part, you realize that part B asks you to explain what happens. I'm sure you know when we increase the batteries over a certain limit, something will happen to the bulb. Okay, there is a part on CER, the box is on the next page, so I'm just going to combine the box and write it over here. Okay, so we know when one battery is used and when I increase to 7 batteries, everything is fine. The brightness of the bulb increases. However, when 8 batteries are used, something happened to the bulb. What happens to the bulb? So basically, you know that. Okay, let's write this down. It fused. Okay, it fused or it blew. Okay, up to you. Okay, you can use the word fuse, you can use the word blue. Okay, just use one, it's fine. Okay, so what happened about it blew? How do you know it blew? Or how do you know it fused? Okay, because what can I see from the data tell me that it blew? Because it did not light up. Okay, it did not light up when 8 batteries are used. Okay, so claim is basically the answer. What happened? Okay, without explanation. Then evidence is what you can tell from the graph. What does the graph tell you? Okay, to support your claim. Okay, so we know that it blew. How do I know that from the graph? Because it did not light up when 8 batteries are used. And what is the reason behind? So tell me the scientific reason behind why what happens when 8 batteries are used. Okay, when 8 batteries are used, basically there are too much electric current flowing through the filament of the bulb. Not just the bulb, but the filament of the bulb, which is the important part. Okay, so when 8 batteries are used, too much electric current flow through the filament of the bulb, which gives you the light and also the heat. Okay, and what happens when too much um, electric current flows through the filament of the bulb? It will cause it to overheat and melt. Okay, and that's why it blew. Okay, so all you need to do is just combine these three sentences together. Sometimes all you need to do is just really rewrite these three sentences. But of course, in the exam, you don't have to rewrite. You just write it on the line straight away. There's no box for you to write or CER. But we just want to break the thinking process down. First, answer the question. Um, what happened to the bulb? It blew, it fused. Okay, how do I know that? Because the bulb did not light up when 8 batteries are used. And what's the reason behind it? Because when 8 batteries are used, too much electric current flow through the filament, causing it to overheat and melt. Okay, so I'll just do a fast one. I just want to combine all this down in a box over here. Right, so I combine all these three sentences, not exactly just copy, but I rewrote it. Okay, I have the luxury of rewriting it because I can see what I'm writing here, and then I rephrase over here. So basically it blew. Why? Because when 8 batteries are used, it did not light up. This is the evidence that I see from the graph. And why it did not light up? Because too much electric current was flowing through the filament, causing it to heat and melt, or causing it to overheat and melt. Okay, so this is question 12. I do with you, okay, to show you how it is done. So your homework today is to finish up question 13, 14, and 15 of your using electricity topical worksheet, and then we'll discuss the answer on Friday. Make sure you do on class kick. I really want to see your answers. Okay, see you on Friday.